Hello everybody, my name is Grucer Games and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Here we're going to check out the Airbus Beluga. Now, probably most of you know what the Beluga is, but for those of you who don't, it's just a fun plane, we'll put it that way. It's a transport aircraft. Now we're going to go based off of this flight plan that I made up, which was based off of runway 32 as an ILS runway, and I'm going to be showcasing how to use ILS in pretty much any Airbus that you're going to fly in the game, right? Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Yeah, it looks fine to me. Send to ATC and avionics. Then we're going to click on start flight. And then we're going to do a couple of things once we get inside the aircraft. Good old Jacksonville. Duval, West Side, J Field, West Side, Duval. All right. Anyway, here's the Beluga in all of its glory. We're gonna go ahead and boom, and we're gonna go close that, and we're gonna go and open up the camera and switch back into cockpit, and then close that because we might use it later. Let's look at the METAR, and we're at an altimeter 3019er. So switch this into inches of mercury instead of hectopascals and switch it to 3019er. Gonna change our altitude here to 3000. Enter that in. Going to clear all that crap because none of that is right. We're gonna go to the init page, give it a little bit, change our flight level to 30. Then we're going to go to our flight plan, and actually it plugged everything in. Huh, would you look at that? Look at how nice and everything is laid out. That's so nice. Now there is a hold at Javag, and that's just to kind of orient the aircraft with the airport. And it's a pretty typical procedure, and I'll show you once we get into the air, because I'll show you an ILS procedure chart. Anyway, that's all ready to go. So I don't see anything else that we got to do. Let's just go ahead and put ourselves in Toga Toga. Well, wait, hang on. Yeah, we'll put ourselves in Toga Toga. Lift up the armrest and disengage the parking brake. Yeah, no, I didn't put in any takeoff speeds. Whatever. Takeoff inhibit. No, takeoff will go through. Takeoff speeds not inserted will be fine. Because that shaky normally means that the wings have got lift. Just saying. Gonna go ahead and engage our autopilot at a very low altitude here. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but you know, if small Cessnas can do it, I can do it too, right? That's how that works. We're gonna go ahead and back our throttle into CLB. Bring the flaps up. Disengage the ground spoilers. The landing gear is still raising. And we're going to engage climb. Okay, there we go. Hang on. Done do altimeter mode, then climb. Then it's going to go into cruise, and then on top of that, we're going to engage manage throttle mode, and now the autopilot has control of everything. Now notice there's a little asterisk right beside the alt cruise, right? And that's because, if you've noticed, there's a speed right next to our fixes here, and there's a altitude next to it as well. That's called CST values, right? And we can change these as we want. It's complaining about fuel level, but we don't worry about it. But it's talking about these values here for the CST. And you may be wondering, hey, what the hell does that have to do with me, right? Well, notice I can actually go here, set our altitude to 1900, which is the lowest altitude. It's the minimum decision height for this flight. Oh, and it did not kick in. Hang on. We're going to go back up to that 3000. I think that's because we haven't reached our waypoint yet. We're about to be at Craig. And see, now we're at Craig. And if I set this down to 1900, this was working before and now it's not working. I love you, game or simulators. You're great. Wait, we had it. Let's go ahead and re-engage it. Okay. We're locking in. Okay. So now if I set the 1900 mark, it's not done do it. So you see that green little dot there? What would normally happen, and the reason why it's not happening has to deal with the way that this is currently set up. We're not at our top of descent marker. We're nowhere near certain things that are supposed to be happening are just not currently happening. I'll put it that way. So notice that green dot is starting to come down. Yeah, I don't know. It was literally just working for my test runs. Literally, my 2 test runs it was working for. But it did not seem to want to work for this run. Whatever. Anyway, we're going to enter a holding pattern here at Javag, which will be fine. Notice, you see, we have a speed limit here. So I'm trying to keep us within. Ah, see, it's a little confused. Wait, are we? Oh. Huh. Well, that's different. I don't think I've hmm. This is probably gonna cut straight across and then go around the loop. Yeah, kind of what I figured. But how fast are we going? It has a speed of 250. Then we're gonna slow down to 195, and then 127 by the time we land, which is actually not bad. That planned that out really well. But why the caster isn't working, or why CST is not working for the altimeter, I have no idea. You see the little green dot going up and down, up and down. It knows that it's there. It just doesn't want to work. It's probably because of the hold messing it up. That's probably what it is. If I'm going to be honest with you. We probably could have stayed at the 3,000 mark until we entered the Javag and then engaged. You know what? It'll be alright. If we do the thing, it's gonna be alright. So we're gonna spin around. We're gonna engage the localizer. And we're gonna engage ILS. And we're gonna engage ILS on our rows here. And it says that we have grabbed the localizer. Would you look at that? Alright. So, we're on the Jacksonville Beach side. That's Craig right there. That flashing green light's the tower, and there's the runway right there with the red light. So, the speed is managed. Alright, the altitude currently is not managed. We're about to be on a fixed localizer approach. And the localizer is now fixed. We can now engage the autopilot approach mode with dual autopilot computers. So we're now in a Cat 3 dual autopilot ILS approach. This allows for a full landing scenario. See, we can even, isn't there a button for it somewhere? Yeah. See, Captain Autoland. Makes everything kind of flash. But yeah. We're gonna grab the glide slopes and then we're gonna do a auto land procedure because that's always fun. We're gonna come back on flaps here in a minute because we're probably at the Javag. Let me go back to nav. Ooh, we're almost at the adder mark and we haven't even started slowing down yet. Okay, there it goes. We haven't even captured the glide slope yet. We are low. See, the red lights, all solid red, means that we're too low to even capture the glide slope at this range, which is surprising because we're at the glide slope. If we look at the chart for ILS runway 32, and then we look at the glide slope, it wants us to be at 1900 for to capture the glide slope. Anyway, whatever. We'll start dropping our flaps. Oh, we got one white light. We want 2 white and 2 red. That is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and drop the landing gear. Engage max auto brake. Engage the brake fan. Pull up the spoilers. Let the cabin know we're coming in for a landing. What else do we need to make sure? Landing gear is coming down. We're getting our flaps slowly lowered into position. We're on glide slope, which is sweet. Dropping into flaps 3. At 1,000, we'll drop in the into flaps 4. Flaps 4. All right. Spoilers are engaged. Great. Cabin's ready. Landing inhibit. What do you mean landing inhibit? Why landing inhibit? Why do I need to inhibit my landing? I'm not gonna listen to you. It'll be alright. Trust me, it'll be alright. We are now in landing mode. And the aircraft's done and do its thing. See how well it does. Is it right on the captain's mark? Man, that was actually pretty good. The jerkiness of the rudder, that was a little, to be desired. But anyway. Autopilot off. Yeah, I'm aware that the autopilot is off. You know what? Where's the dome light? There's the dome light. See? It's fine that the autopilot is off, okay? Now, you may have been thinking, man, that runway looked awfully short. Yeah, let's go look at the aircraft environment tab and notice runway 32 KCRG. 3996, essentially a little less than 4,000 feet. And we didn't use a lot of it. We used very little, to be honest with you. And we were able to stop. Didn't take a whole lot to pull this thing to a stop. But according to this, we should not have been able to stop. But whatever. Well, especially if I put it into index 4, that's more realistic, right? It says we need 71,000. What? I don't know what type of. I don't know what it's smoking, but there is no way that you're ever gonna have a runaway that long. Yeah. Anyway, that about does it for this video. I just wanted to go over just, you know, some basic iOS systems and operating this guy here. Now I will say I didn't have the CST working for this video. I don't know why. It's probably just because I didn't actually plug it in manually and I let the system do it all, or I let the EFB plug it in through the flight planner. So you noticed it had all of our stuff, but it is what it is. I can't change it. Anyway, hope you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and I'll see you in the next one.